hope it doesn't. If it does, then I'm sorry. But we see some lift calls being bought. Those hit moonshots. So lift 15.5 for the weeklies, hitting here at 25 cents. So we see some lift calls being bought in lift, guys. So if someone could write something in the chat box. I can't put anything in the chat box, so someone write something here. So moonshot, scanner, flags, buyer of 1500 plus, lift this week, 15.5 calls for 25. So lift calls being bought here, guys, which should be good for Uber, but lift calls. If you guys can write, okay, perfect. So we see some lift calls on moonshots, just hitting the tape, guys. So we see some calls on our moonshot scanner in lift. Lift weekly 15.5s. Lift weekly 15.5. So we look at the ATR here. We say how high can lift go. Lift has a nice ATR of $1.42. So if you take the low of the day, you add the ATR, lift could potentially get up to 1580. So lift could get up to 1580 today. So I do like lift here, guys. Once again, maybe you don't go so big on these. Maybe you take like $100 worth. Maybe you take $200 worth. Maybe if you're a really big trader, you take $500 worth. You know, we're not getting the moves in the market that we've gotten before. So it's not necessarily going to move the ATR. But, you know, today's Wednesday. So you get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. These things are 30 cents out of the money. So reward to risk, I don't think they're terrible. So these are LYFT this week, 15.5 calls for 25 cents. Lift calls, 15.5s for this week. How's everybody doing? I got a flight today. I am in Dallas. I'm headed back to Chicago. Hopefully when I'm in Chicago, I will not be traveling. Oh, we see another signal. 4,000 Nordstrom 24 calls trading here. 4,000 Nordstrom 24 calls here, guys. 4,000 Nordstrom 24 calls trading here. So, Nordstrom here. So, Nordstrom calls. These are July calls in Nordstrom. As the market looks a little weak here. 4,000. This is about a $500,000 bet here in Nordstrom, guys. These traded at 138 here in Nordstrom. So, buyer, option hacker. Flags buyer. 4,000 plus. Nordstrom, 7/15, 2022, 24 calls for 138. So Nordstrom calls, guys. Nordstrom calls here. Nordstrom calls being bought, guys, in Nordstrom. Big buyer Nordstrom calls, guys. You can turn these into bull call spreads. So Nordstrom calls being bought. So we see two signals hitting the tape during bonus trading. That's kind of fun. So 137 here in Nordstrom. Nordstrom calls, guys. Nordstrom calls. See another signal hitting the top. BUR, SEP 12.5s trading here. BUR, SEP 12.5s. Burford Capital. They trade 30 cents here, guys. In BUR, the stock has traded 12,000 shares. 12,000 shares here in BUR, guys. The 12.5s in BUR trading here. Let's go to BUR, the daily. Small ATR here, guys. So BUR in the daily. Option hacker. Flags a buyer of 2,500. BUR Sept 16th, 2022. 12.5 calls for 30 cents. So BUR calls being bought. Now we see 3 signals hit the tape, guys. 3 signals hit the tape, as we have in our bonus trading session. And now BUR calls being bought. BUR. BUR calls being bought. So we saw BUR calls, we saw Lyft, we see Nordstrom. Tequila. So just writing a little market color here for Nordstrom. Nordstrom. So BUR calls, Nordstrom calls, Lyft calls, PDD calls, XLF calls. You can see on the right, that's everything that has hit the tape today. Nordstrom also hit short squeeze. Carvana calls, Lyft calls. Futures up 9.5. ARKK up a little bit. DraftKings up a little bit. So Lyft weekly calls, guys. MQ September. PDD weekly calls. XLF July calls. Little this, little that. We're starting to see some signals. We didn't see signals for a while. We're gonna go for about 2 more minutes here, guys. But this bonus trading session was good because we gave you guys some more signals. BUR September calls. Those are already 30-40 now. BUR is starting to move. So BUR is starting to move. Zillow, come on. I need Zillow back above 35. It was $2.77 a day. BUR, you know, like it doesn't trade much stock. This looks like a SPAC. It looks like the all-time high was 1250. So, I mean, it traded 113,000 shares. So, getting in at 30 cents, I like, but I mean, these can go to zero very, very quickly. So, do I like it? Yes. But these can go down really, really quickly too. Anytime an institution buys calls, they're also buying implied volatility. So that trade just moved the implied volatility higher. So now we have a total of 7 signals. No 5-minute bar longs. So 7 signals so far today. BUR September, Carvana weekly calls, Nordstrom July calls, Lyft weekly calls, MQ September calls, and then PDD calls. All right, guys, so that is it for your bonus trading session. I'll see everybody later. I'm headed to the airport, back to Chicago tomorrow. I'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow. Sorry about the confusion about the time here on the bonus trading. Thank you.